My topic today is about higher education. I'm a president of a liberal arts college in the United States, Unity College in Maine, and we have adopted a new paradigm for sustainability education. It's called sustainability science, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about it. This is the know-how that the Vice Chancellor referred to. My colleagues and I believe that this is an important tool for making a long overdue large-scale transformation of higher education. It's an essential step forward for the knowledge economy. Students in college today face the prospect of living in a vastly diminished world unless we are able to make significant changes in our use of natural resources and rapidly convert to carbon-neutral energy sources. We've heard a lot about that at this conference, and I'm not going to belabor the point, but it's clear we have a stark central choice. We either live more sustainably on this planet or face catastrophic consequences that are incompatible with civilization over a millennial timescale. Climate disruption arrives at a time when the pace of change in human civilization is exponentially increasing. For the first time in our history, our entire species, as Mr. Friedman informed us, is hyper-connected, and this has enormous implications for our economy and the ecology of our planet. My colleagues and I are concerned at Unity College with the massive disruption of the Earth's living systems and its life support systems. We train conservation professionals in the management of natural resources, forestry, fisheries, wildlife, in addition to sustainable agriculture and energy systems. We believe that the current century will come to be seen as the environmental century. Higher education has an imperative. More than at any time in the history of higher education, we must now produce cutting-edge practitioners able to integrate knowledge from multiple disciplines and understand social, economic, and resource trade-offs. This is the interdisciplinary programming that Lena referred to. The current changes are unprecedented in speed and scale, and most current models of higher education are woefully inadequate to the task of preparing a generation of problem solvers. In this century, higher education has but one primary mission: to provide the sophisticated tools necessary to build a sustainable civilization. When defined in this way, sustainability education becomes the thread that connects absolutely every discipline in the academy. Sadly, much of higher education in the United States and arguably many other countries is ill-equipped to face the sustainability crises of this century. Current models derive from medieval times and are inappropriate for this pace of change. While sustainability programming has been expanding at institutions throughout the world, most colleges and universities see this as a one-off extension of existing programs in environmental studies. With few exceptions, such as Terry University and I think Unity College, these programs are poorly designed and underfunded. Over the last decade, the field of sustainability science has matured as a framework for environmental education and research. The United States National Academy of Science and the American Association for the Advancement of Science have recognized sustainability science as an appropriate tool for securing our future. We have adopted sustainability science as the framework for all of our academic programming, thus integrating the concepts of sustainability throughout the curriculum from the humanities to the natural sciences. In contrast to interdisciplinary programming, which I agree is a step forward and absolutely necessary, I've built 3 different interdisciplinary environmental programs. Sustainability science is transdisciplinary. It's an approach that crumbles the barriers among the disciplines, between the silos, if you will. Interdisciplinary approaches are cumbersome sometimes and require long periods to integrate the concepts of various disciplines as they are brought to bear on a given sustainability problem. In contrast, transdisciplinary processes brings the perspectives of various disciplines simultaneously integrated through the student or the practitioner. The student is in effect empowered to be a broker of knowledge, and the faculty in turn act as curators of the knowledge, identifying other areas where the students need more or less understanding. This is a streamlined approach necessary for the synthetic thinking that's required in this century. It does not obviate the need for deep expertise. Sustainability science programming engages the complexity of interactions among economy, society, and nature. There are 3 core competencies that we feel are necessary for this, and the first is synthetic thinking, or transdisciplinarity, if you will, the ability to understand and synthesize solutions to complex sustainability problems using multiple disciplines. Secondly, written, verbal, and media literacy, in other words, the humanities. These are absolutely foundational to an effective synthetic thinker. And finally, an area that's often overlooked in undergraduate education and in graduate education, and that's management. Frequently is taught in business schools, but we feel at our college that it needs to be a common core component for all of our majors. These management skills are the missing piece that many employers tell us they're looking for. Rather than abandon the liberal arts in favor of a focused technical education, I'm in fact arguing that we should embrace these core competencies and elevate the humanities and the social sciences as the foundation of higher education and sustainability, and that they're absolutely necessary for sustainability science. So in the United States right now, many are questioning the value of higher education. I imagine in this crowd that's seen as patently absurd. Certainly I think it is. Why get a college degree at all? Well, there really is a simple answer to that, and that's that there can be no higher value proposition for higher education than providing students with the tools to build a sustainable society that they will need desperately in the coming decades. Indeed, I think this is our ethical obligation as educators. The linkage between sustainability science and the basic value of higher education should be obvious, but what may not be obvious is the linkage to jobs. One of the things that we're discovering now is that several recent studies and our own investigations have shown that the sustainability economy is growing even in the face of the recession of 2008. Overall, the evidence is compelling that the jobs are there now and that there will be many more in the future. To borrow from evolutionary biology, similar to the acquisition of flight in birds, I believe that this represents a new adaptive zone for the diversification of the global economy. Throughout the world, higher education must get its head out of the 20th century, or as in some cases, the 18th century, and leave behind the ponderous instructional methods that cannot serve to address the rapid pace of global change. Sustainability education must now be the mission for all higher education. Now is the time for academic leaders to find the courage to implement change. Thank you.